for a monthly premium of $110 level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call for a free quote today. 800-200-2250. That's 800-200-2250. Don't wait. Call 800-200-2250. 800-200-2250. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
Listen to San Diego Sports 760 on the free iHeartRadio app. For all your music, sports, talk, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good.
Robert Half research indicates 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Their recruiting professionals use proprietary AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com today.
Hey, it's Alec Baldwin. This season on my podcast, Here's the Thing, I speak with musician, photographer, and philanthropist Julian Lennon.
Photography really does allow me to do that. I have empathy for people on the other side of the world that you'll never ever meet, but you'll at least have some understanding of what their life is and what they went through or are still going through.
Listen to Here's the Thing on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Here's the Thing and start listening.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's money. Enter it now.
The Aztecs play here.
San Diego Sports 760.
KGB and KGB FM HD2, San Diego.
Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're talking Aztecs.
So let's get the best source.
Key to our success, though, is the defense and the rebounding.
This is the Brian Dutcher Show. Get the latest info about the Scarlet and Black as we talk to the man at the top.
We got to have an 8, 9, 10-man rotation because it's a hard conference.
The Brian Dutcher Show is sponsored by ShopAztecs.com. ShopAztecs.com is your official store for team apparel. Visit ShopAztecs.com for the latest Sdsu gear and Kaiser Permanente for all that is San Diego for all that is you. Now, it's the Brian Dutcher Show.
All right, the Brian Dutcher Show, San Diego Sports 760. John Schaefer with the head coach of the Aztecs. He'll join us here for the next 20 or so minutes. And again, if you got a question for Dutch, I see some of them here on the text line. We'll get to them. You can text us right now, 70470. Start it with team. Aztecs coming off that remarkable come-from-behind win over San Jose State, trailing by 21, and getting ready for Wyoming now on Saturday. So, Dutch, I mean, it's just one to the next. You'll get a bye week here in between, but as you turn your attention towards Wyoming, what do you take away from what happened Tuesday night? And thanks for hopping on.
Thanks, John. We just have a lot of fight in us. You know, we don't play perfect basketball. That's more than obvious. We press when we're not playing well, which young teams do. But at the end of the day, we fight till the end, and that allowed us to come from 21 down, 16 down in the second half, and find a way to get a victory at home.
It was an amazing game. I mean, it really is, because I think we talked about a post game. I mean, a lot of teams that are trailing by 20 points at any point, I mean, you may never get back into that game. And you actually made a couple of runs because you got it down to maybe 11 or 12 in the first half. Then you had it down to 7 in the second half. All of a sudden, it was back to 16 points. When you look back on it, what was it that got you back into the game? Was it the defense in the end? Because I think San Jose State in the second half shot 30%.
Yeah, obviously our defense is the key to everything. And
yeah,
they were red hot, John, and they weren't all wide open. They made 15 threes against us, 15 for 31. And usually when you run into a night like that, you don't win when the opposition shoots it that well. But to our credit, we hung in there, we fought. We shot 50% for the game, which is really good, and had a lot of assists. We had 11 turnovers the first half, and I told them at halftime, you get 3 assists or turnovers the second half. You have more than that, you're not going to win. And we only had 3 turnovers the second half.
Crazy. Brian Dutcher Show here on San Diego Sports 760. Dutch, what do you want to see from your team still? Like, as you continue to progress, the arc of this season continues. There's still so much basketball to come beginning Saturday. Where are the leaps you hope to still make here with this team?
Just play better in longer stretches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, adjust to the defense. I mean, I thought San Jose came out and got real physical with us at the start and guarded us really hard. And we attacked in poor space. And then trust the offense. we got behind and we thought we were going to score 10 points a possession. That's never going to happen. So we have to be patient, take what the defense gives us, and if we play enough sides of the floor, if we reverse it a couple times, we end up getting a pretty good shot.
This just came in off our text line, Dutch, 70470. You can start your message with the word team. 858 saying, Dutch, how do you balance your happiness or relief that your team clawed back against San Jose with the concern that they trailed by 21 to begin with? Is there a teaching moment, he asks?
Yeah, it just can, show them that when you get behind, this is not the way to come back. You're not going to do it in a minute. It's going to take some time. And I wasn't overly concerned. Yeah, I didn't want to be down 21. But if you're going to be down 21, it's in the first half. You got plenty of time. We cut it to 11 at halftime, and we're back in the game.
What are you seeing from you had a starting lineup change because Jared Coleman-Jones is dealing with that shoulder, so Miles Heide steps in. He ended up playing a good amount of minutes, obviously, and he's played meaningful minutes for you throughout the course of the year. What are you seeing from Miles Heide right now in his second season?
Just trying to get him more confident, and I think he's doing that. He missed a little jump hook against a smaller defender in the game, and then the next time he got it, he didn't shy away. He shot it over a bigger defender and scored it. So just for Miles to grow in his confidence, to play with ultimate aggression at both ends of the floor, and don't worry about making a mistake. Play as hard as you can.
I asked Nick Boyd during his media availability when you spoke with the media as well today at the Jam Center if he's ever played with or against a player like Magoon Gwath with his skill set. Obviously, you've coached a long time. How unique is Magoon's overall skill set?
Yeah, he's dangerous because we know he can shoot the three if they leave him open. He can put it on the floor, and he's got to get better at that, obviously. Darren, it's with strength and finishing, picking up the ball and getting it to two hands. But he showed an ability to drive the ball, and then he can dunk it. He's good around the basket, a little jump hook, offensive rebounding. So, good players can score at every level. So he can score in the block, he can score off the bounce, and he can shoot the three. So that makes him dangerous.
What do you see on film defensively with the way opponents treat him? Because the first handful of games, it's like they go into him, he'd block everything. Now everyone's like so overly aware. Maybe he's not going to have 4, 5, 6 block games, but it just feels like his presence is so impactful because the opponent's so aware of what he's capable of doing defensively.
Yeah, if he's around the basket, he's dangerous to block all those shots. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to move him away from the basket. Sometimes we play him as the stretch four, so he's guarding the guy that's away from the basket. So it's tougher for him to get there and block shots. But he's a developing defender, and like I said, I told him before the last game, be protective of your first foul. We lost at home to UNLV in large part because Magoon only played 11 minutes and fouled out.
Right.
So he has to find a way to not foul, to play on the perimeter, and maybe give up a jump shot or two in order to stay in the game and catch those guys as they drive and not get so tight to really quick players on the perimeter.
What are the conversations like with your veteran guards? I know you talked about this postgame, like Miles Bird in the first half, the way he rebounded in the second half, or a Nick Boyd who's played a lot of college basketball and is playing a ton of minutes for you, obviously, as a fourth-year college player. What's it like as you go through the ebbs and flows? Those are some of your veteran players, and obviously you need them to be playing well to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, Nick and Bird have to play well. They shoot it as much as anybody. And they have to continue like they do. Like Nick had 5 assists the last game. The game before, Bird had 7 assists. So know that the defense a lot of times is key to what they're doing. And if they draw a second defender, to find an open player. And so they walk that line. They have to score the ball. They want to score the ball. But nobody scores over 2 players. And to grow their games and realize when they draw a second defender to get someone an open shot, that's just as good as them scoring.
What's it been like for B.J. Davis to go through his first kind of full season in a rotation? Obviously, he was with you last year in his freshman season. He came out, obviously, really scoring the ball effectively. Clearly, opponents' scouting reports have changed with B.J. They're so aware of his offensive skill set. So how do you kind of coach him through his first full-time role in college?
Just keep getting in the gym, getting shots up, believing in the shot when he gets them. And, B.J. got – he slipped, got off balance. He fell down a couple times on penetration in the last game. He's got to stay on his feet. He's got to be able to absorb that contact and to keep hunting his shot because he's a gifted scorer, and we want him to score.
Kimo Ferrari, it's like you've joked about, he could run for mayor, right? I mean, his popularity when he checks into a game, it seems like he's getting more meaningful minutes for you right now. What impact is he having on your team this year?
The kids love Chemo. They love him on the floor. He's a smart player. He's a fifth-year senior. So you can't replace all that experience. So we're running freshmen and sophomores out there, and sometimes as a coach, it's good to run a guy that's played a lot of college basketball, that knows all these different situations. It's just going to be fundamentally sound. He's going to play mistake-free basketball, and if they leave him open, he's going to knock down that open three.
He's been fun to watch. Obviously, Aztec fans have taken a liking to the San Diegan. Yeah, we always talk about your youth and just running through some of these players. I mean, you got these true freshmen in Taj DeGorville and Farrell Compton. Both have been so impactful. You look at Taj specifically. Was this your expectation heading in? I mean, obviously you had Reese Waters, and he's been out this year, and Taj has played. Not only has he played a big role, Dutch, he's on the floor for you in those impactful moments, right? Final 2, 3, 4 minutes of the game, Taj is there, and he's been making plays for you.
Yeah, he played 24 minutes against San Jose, and he was impactful. And he's getting better. That's the beauty of it. He's learning. You know, these guys are playing their first college basketball. And so they're 16 games in or whatever it is, and they're learning how to play. And this is the second half of the year, so they should be seeing that improvement and knowing how we want to do things, having experienced it in game setting. And everybody plays you different. And so you say, well, if everybody played the same, then you'd be ready for anything. But one game we're going to see this type of defense, next game a different defense. And you have to grow and learn how to play against all those different defenses. I think he and Farrow and Magoon are getting better because they're seeing things for the second and third time finally.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We'll get to some more of these questions on the other side. 70470, start it with the word team. If you have a question for Brian Dutcher, 70470, you can start your message with the word team. And I want to look ahead to Wyoming because they've won on the road. They've hit the 3-ball. They did in their last game against Fresno State, and they're coming to Viejas Arena Saturday at 5 p.m. So we'll take a timeout. Brian Dutcher with us for another handful of minutes on the other side. This is the Brian Dutcher Show on San Diego Sports 760.
He's Colin Cowherd.
James Cook on that final Buffalo drive never touched the ball. I know it's the refs, right? It's such a tired act. I heard that for 20 years on the Patriots dynasty.
Your coffee break.
Yes, the league wanted jammed up in the Northeast New England to dominate the league, and now small market Kansas City, please have them dominate all the games. Remember, pre-Taylor Swift, they had Super Bowls.
Weekday mornings at 9.
San Diego Sports 760. America's finest sports station.
Aztec fans, Coach Dutcher here. We need you more than ever. Aztec basketball can't be successful without Mesa Foundation and NIL. Their mission is to help sustain the competitive level of Aztec basketball while contributing to the development of student athletes through mentorship and community engagement. Become a Mesa member today and support Aztec basketball student athletes. Let's come together and ensure we continue to compete at the highest level. Visit mesa-aztecs.org for more information.
Planning an event in San Diego? Look no further. Town & Country Event Rentals has everything you need to make your event unforgettable. From elegant dinnerware to stunning tents and stylish lounge furniture, we've got you covered. Whether it's a wedding, corporate event, or special celebration, we have the perfect event rentals to match your style and vision. Visit us at townandcountry.com or give us a call today. Town & Country Event Rentals, where your perfect event begins.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
It's the Brian Dutcher Show on the home of San Diego State, San Diego Sports 760.
All right, Brian Dutcher Show here on San Diego Sports 760. Again, the Aztecs get the Wyoming Cowboys coming up Saturday at 5 p.m. We'll get into that here coming up with the head coach of the Aztecs, Brian Dutcher. And again, if you have a question, you can text us, 70470. Start it with the word team. Dutch, before we get to Wyoming, I don't know if you saw this quote. This is going back to the Nevada win, and I guess it was unsolicited postgame from Steve Alford. He was talking about Nick Boyd. He was talking about his team, and he said, we're missing some things. We need leadership on the court. We need an alpha dog when things do get nasty. I love how Boyd was that for them. Anytime it got controversial, he was the alpha dog on that team who made it happen for them. we have to figure out who that might be for us. He was talking about his Nevada team. Can you describe some of that? Like, again, in a box score, you see what someone does, 10 points, 5 assists, whatever. What does Nick Boyd kind of mean both on floor and off floor for your team?
I mean, he's a great leader, and, that's something that he came natural with him from Florida Atlantic. He's a leader, and he led from day one. And it's hard to lead. Sometimes you're leading a group, they're having a bad day, they don't want to hear it, but it doesn't stop him from leading. He leads when they don't want to hear it. And so that's a gift, and we're grateful to have it. Have a leader like Nick, and then Bird stepping up in his leadership role. And we always say as coaches, there's two kind of players: player-driven teams and coach-driven teams. And player-driven teams are always better. So I feel as if our players are investing. They're driving each other to be better, and I think that's a good thing for Aztec basketball.
So switching gears to Wyoming, and I didn't realize this. You made the point that they hit 17 threes in their victory over Fresno State. Of course, San Jose State just hit 15 off you. They were around 50%, whatever it was, 17 of 35 or 17 of 36. They shoot the three ball really well, 36% as a team. So obviously it's a huge focus. I mean, it's one thing to allow 15, 17. That's a massive number, the game they're coming off.
Yeah, like I said, when you give up 15 threes, you don't sleep very well, and you sleep worse when the next team you're playing hits 17 in the game.
Right.
And so we're paying full attention to that. We can't give up another 15, 16, 17 threes at home. So we have to defend ball screens, help when we can, but get out on shooters. And we didn't have that approach at San Jose State. They're a driving team, but they ran into a night. I think they make 8 threes a game, but they ran into a night where everything was going in, and we had to adjust. Wyoming's a different story. We know they shoot it at a high level, and they take a lot of them. So we'll be paying attention to the three-point shot this coming game and hopefully do a good job contesting it. I think we lead the conference. Our opponents shoot 28% from three, which is the best three-point field goal defense in the Mountain West. So we have to have another night like that.
I asked you about this earlier, and I didn't look at all the numbers, but Obi Agbum, their transfer guard, it's one thing to score a lot, but he shoots 50.6% from the floor and 47% from three. Their 6'3" guard. It's got to be really impressive when you watch him on film.
Yeah, Sundance Wick, their head coach, does a really good job of running that team. And so they're going to run a lot of offense, and he'll have an opportunity to score in the offense. What he does great on a short shot clock, he can create separation against anybody.
Yeah.
So he can create his own shot. So they're going to run offense, but on a late shot clock, he can get a shot up, and that's always dangerous, a guy that can create his own shot.
You've been asked so much about this, the home-road dynamic. I think you're 7-2 road neutral this year. Obviously, you're coming off a home win, but you've had 3 losses at Viejas Arena. Is it worth the time to overthink it? I mean, is there any value in it, overthinking why you've had more success on the road as opposed to at home?
It's just about getting in a routine. John, there's less distractions on the road. They're in the hotel. They're up in the room getting rest. They're eating on a schedule. They're watching tape with us more on the road than we do at home, even though we watch a lot at home. But at home, they've got friends in town. They've got family coming to the game. And so once they leave us after shoot-around, mom and dad are there. Their friends are there coming in town for the game. And sometimes you just have to tell them, I'll see you after the game. I need to get some rest. I need to lay down for a minute, start thinking about the game and stuff like that. And there are more distractions at home that we have to do a better job as individuals, as freshmen, sophomores, of controlling when we play at home.
That's really interesting. Again, Aztecs get Wyoming at home on Saturday at 5 p.m., and a text came in from the 858 that says, after this game, you have the week to get ready for Fort Collins and Colorado State. Obviously, they're playing really good basketball. But 858 asks, during a scheduling lull, do you watch other basketball games in the league or even outside of the league? Do you do that, Dutch, or is it more about film for the next opponent?
Most of my time is spent on the next opponent. Now, if I'm done with my work and I've watched all the tape I feel I need to watch for an upcoming game, then I'll turn another conference game on to watch that. And if there's not a conference game, then I might turn another basketball game on and see what everybody's doing and where they're having success and stuff like that. So, yeah, you have to be immersed in basketball. First and foremost about ourselves and then our next opponent, then the league, and then if that's all taken care of, outside the league.
How do you feel about where you sit at the halfway point in league play? 7-3 overall in the league. Colorado State's 8-2. New Mexico and Utah State are both 9-1. How do you feel about the opportunity still in front of your team?
Yeah, our best basketball is ahead of us, and we're still in the race. So we've given ourselves less room for error because we've lost 2 home games. We're 4-1 on the road and 3-2 at home, and if we could even erase one of those, we'd be right in the race. But now we're going to have to fight our way back into it, and hopefully we'll have a chance at each of those teams ahead of us again, and there'll be opportunities. And there's no easy road. You know, New Mexico and Utah State are going to play for the first time this Saturday.
Right.
So they've got each other twice, and there's a lot of good teams in this league where you saw last night Vegas played Utah State again really well on the road, and Utah State did what they've done. They've won close games. That's why they're 19-2. But games are not easy to win, and if they stumble at all, the Mountain West will pick them off.
I feel like we've said this a good amount over the years that we're going to look up. It'll be March. It'll be in the Mountain West tournament, and I think it's a fair thing to say there's going to be 6-7 teams that are capable of winning that event, right? I mean, this is a very good league again. You've got NCAA caliber teams beyond just the winner of the Mountain West Conference tournament. But wouldn't you say that? I think last year 6 teams got in, but it feels like this year there's got to be 6 or 7 teams that will believe they'll have a chance to win a couple of games in a row.
Yeah, New Mexico won it last year, and they were the first team that came from the play-in round.
Right.
They had to win 4 games. So when the 6th-place team wins the conference title, you know how balanced the league is. And it'll be that way again. I think there'll be 5 or 6 teams capable of winning that event in March.
What do you want to accomplish? Now, of course, you got the Wyoming game, but when you think about the other side of Wyoming and you have that final kind of week where you're working on yourself, but you're also getting ready for Colorado State, are there going to be, maybe it's based on what happened Saturday, but is there going to be any emphasis or points of emphasis during that quote-unquote time off getting ready for Colorado State?
Just rest some bodies, get Coleman Jones healthy for the stretch run, and then add what we need to add, work on some situational stuff, you know, last-second plays, length of the floor plays, sideline out of bounds for threes, work on some of that stuff. When you're preparing for an opponent, you don't get as much time. But with some of that extra time, we can work on some situational stuff we're going to need toward the end of the year.
All right, so again, San Diego State and Wyoming is Saturday at 5 p.m. Our pregame coverage is going to begin at 4, another big one because they're all big Saturday. Get to Viejas Arena. Dutch, before you go, I mean, the crowd in the second half was a huge differentiating factor. You just felt it courtside. They couldn't communicate. I'm talking about San Jose State. They couldn't communicate as well. It just didn't seem as easy for them. It was tough sledding against your defense, and it felt as if the crowd played a big role in that.
Yeah, we always have great crowds, John, but obviously the students were back.
Yeah.
And they were gone for break, and to have them back and filling that student section up, that makes a huge difference.
All right, so get there early, be loud, perfect start time, 5 o'clock Saturday for the first of 2 in the regular season between San Diego State and Wyoming. Dutch, always appreciate it. We'll see you this weekend, and thanks as always for taking time for us.
Thanks for having me, John, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Looking forward to it. Brian Dutcher.